She was ready. Absolutely, flawlessly ready. Not just for the wedding. For me, when I met Juliana, I was 38, and I thought I knew everything about women, relationships, and myself. A successful dental practice, an apartment overlooking the bay, a boat, and an emptiness I mistook for freedom. And then, at a charity gala dinner, I saw her. She didn't glow. She exuded a steady, warm, intelligent light. We talked with equal ease about Baroque architecture and the problems of urban transportation. A month later, I realized she was the one I'd been searching for my whole life. Smart, beautiful, with a great sense of humor, she got along wonderfully with my friends and adored my old, cranky dog. She was the solution to all my questions I didn't even know I had. The first alarm bell rang so quietly. 3 weeks later, I was having dinner with my old friend Nate. I was telling a funny story from college about how Nate and I foolishly almost stole the dean's car. I finished and we laughed. Juliana smiled, and later, at home, over tea, she said quietly, "Darling, you were a passive observer in this whole thing, weren't you? Nate started it all. You just stood by." I frowned. No, I was involved too. Both of us. She put her hand on mine. "Jacob, dear, you're always so modest, downplaying your role. But I know you're not that reckless. You wouldn't do that." Perhaps, over time, memory has altered that story. She said it with such gentle confidence that I doubted it. Maybe it was true. And so began the rewriting of my biography. Then came the fine-tuning. My bright patterned socks didn't quite fit the image of a serious professional. My love of burgers on Fridays was a sweet but harmful habit we should break together. My old friends, who might drink too much and say something harsh, were a slightly toxic environment that slows you down. She never demanded anything, she offered. With such logic, with such concern for my well-being, that refusal seemed ungrateful and stubborn. She took over the housekeeping, impeccably. Bills were paid on time, the refrigerator was full of organic produce, and fresh flowers were always on the table. My role was reduced to bringing in money and admiring. And I admired. I felt like a child finally being properly cared for. Then she decided I needed a break from work. "You're working so hard, you'll burn out. Let me help." She became my personal assistant. At first, she simply sorted through my mail. Then she began answering some emails on my behalf. "I was just saving you time, dear. They weren't important." Then she started booking patients. And somehow, the most difficult, demanding, but also most profitable patients gradually stopped coming. "Oh, Mr. Harrison decided to change clinics, closer to home," she'd say. My income began to decline. "Don't worry," she'd say, kissing my forehead. "We have my savings, and your mental health is more important." I began to feel tired, inexplicable, all-consuming. She insisted I see a doctor. The doctor, an old friend, shrugged. My tests were normal. Juliana looked at him with concern. "But he gets tired so quickly, doctor. And sometimes he has memory lapses. He forgets what we talked about this morning." I looked at her, perplexed. "What lapses?" The doctor prescribed vitamins and rest. "See," she said happily in the car, "I told you you were overtired. You need peace and quiet. I'll take care of everything." The isolation became physical. She talked me into selling the boat. "It's being taken care of so well, and you don't have the strength." She advised me to give the dog to my parents for a while, until you get better. The old dog whined at the door as they led him away. My heart broke, but Juliana hugged me. "It's for her own good. You can't walk her." I was too weak to argue. She controlled my communication. If Mom called, Juliana answered first. "Mrs. Turner, good afternoon." Jacob is resting. He's not feeling well today. Yes, of course, he'll call you back as soon as he can. He never could, because she forgot to pass me messages or said I was too tired to talk. Then the memory lapses began in the mornings. I couldn't find my office keys. Juliana would find them in the refrigerator. Forgotten them again, dear? I was sure I'd put them on the nightstand. I forgot my computer passwords. She patiently helped me recover them, then wrote them down in a safe place. My email, my bank accounts, everything required password resets, and she helped me with them. I began to believe there was something seriously wrong with my head. I became afraid to make decisions because I might forget or mess them up. One night, I woke up thirsty. There was an empty bed next to me. I walked out into the hallway and heard her voice from the office. She spoke quietly, but clearly on the phone. Yes, doctor. Mendoza agrees that the symptoms are progressing. No, just fatigue and cognitive decline so far, but I'm scared. Yes, I'll take him for an MRI next week. Thanks for the support, Dad. I froze. Which Dr. Mendoza? Which MRI? Who is her father? Her father died 10 years ago, she told me. The next morning, I asked about it. Her face twisted with shock and pity. Darling, you were dreaming. You were talking in your sleep. Again, doctor. Mendoza is my gynecologist, the one I told you about yesterday, and about Dad, Jacob. Her eyes filled with tears. You're confused again. This is so scary. We'll definitely do this test. Her confidence was absolute. Mine was shattered. Who would believe it? The one who overheard a snatch of conversation in his sleep, or his loving wife who keeps a diary of his symptoms. I believed her. I thought I was going crazy. My financial advisor, Brad, a friend from high school, called me directly, which was rare. Jake, what's going on? Your wife has asked you to transfer almost all of her liquid assets to some kind of trust fund. She says it's on the recommendation of a new neurologist to be managed in the event of your condition worsening. A chill ran down my spine. I said I knew nothing about it and hung up. That evening, for the first time in months, I felt a surge of clarity and adrenaline. I quietly went down to the office while Juliana was taking a bath. I knew she kept all her documents in a safe. I didn't know the combination, but I tried our wedding date. The safe opened. There weren't documents inside. There was a collection, a folder with printouts, articles on early onset dementia, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. My name was written in the margins as a model patient. A notebook, her handwriting, detailed daily entries. Day 214. Jay forgot where he left the car again. Told his mother to increase his anxiety. Added half a benzodiazepine to his evening tea. Response: lethargy. Confusion in the morning, listed as natural symptom. Another sheet, a list of my friends and family with notes. Nate, skeptical, withdrawn, mother, emotional, easily manipulated through fear. Brad, financier, dangerous, requires neutralization. And legal documents, a power of attorney for medical decisions and property management. Forged, but very high quality signatures of 2 doctors and my signature. The one I'd scribbled on paper on those tired evenings when I didn't even read the text. And a photograph, an old one. It's Julianne, 10 years younger, with a man who looks a lot like me. On the back, a caption, with Graham. A year before the incident, insurance paid Graham, her first husband, whom she claimed died in a yachting accident. I stood there, holding the evidence of my planned destruction in my hands, trembling. This wasn't psychosis, it was a project. I was her project, from start to finish. From our first meeting at the gala dinner to the power of attorney that would turn me into an incapacitated animal and her into absolute mistress of everything I'd built. At that moment, A quiet sigh came from behind me. I turned around. Juliana stood in the doorway in a silk robe, her hair wet. She wasn't looking at me, but at the open safe. There was no anger or fear on her face. There was a slight, professional disappointment, like a scientist whose experiment has gotten out of control. "Oh, Jacob," she said quietly, "why did you do that? Now everything is going to be so much more complicated." I closed the safe. I stood up. "Why?" I asked. Just one word. She entered the room and sat on my chair as if she were the hostess. "Because you were perfect," she said in a simple, businesslike tone. "Successful, single, no close family, sentimental, easily influenced, and you had so much. Wonderfulness, a practice, an apartment, a reputation. I needed all of it, and to get it, I had to dismantle you. Careful, like an old house that needs replacing with a new one. Graham was the first project, but he was careless. With you, I was more careful. You're a psychopath." She smiled, like an adult at a child learning a new word. "That's such a harsh word, Jacob. I'm just being practical. Emotions are ineffective. People are resources. You were a great resource, and you still are. It's just that we're entering the final phase now." She looked at the documents in my hands. "You'll show them to the police?" "To whom?" "Your friend Brad, whom I've already framed, accusing him of persistently proposing risky financial schemes to you against my will. Your mother, who's already convinced her son is going crazy. The doctors, whose reports I already have. You're a man with incipient dementia who forgets his keys in the refrigerator and gets his names mixed up. And I'm a devoted, tired wife, trying my best to save her husband. Who will believe them all?" She was right. She constructed her truth as carefully as the perfect interior of our house. Every nail, every detail in place. My truth was a pile of incoherent fragments in the hands of a madman. Now she's sleeping in our bedroom. Tomorrow we're going for an MRI. I'll go, because if I refuse, it will be proof of my incompetence and aggression against her case. I play by her rules, because she makes the rules. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I only know one thing. I must remember this feeling. Cold. The pure, unfeeling cold of a person who looks at you like discarded trash. This is more important than any fear. Fear can be conquered. Cold, no. It can only be experienced. If you're lucky, or become a part of it.